One of the biggest problems with being a ghost is that you can't drink through your spooky shroud. Good evening, ghouls. It's Halloween, the spookiest day of the year, when the veil between the world of the living and the dead is at its thinnest, and ghosts and goblins walk the earth. As you can see, I myself am a ghost. But I'm not just here to haunt you, dear friend. I'm here to show you the final cover for my young adult horror-infused thriller coming out August 2024 from Disney-Hyperion. Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch. They think they killed a girl. They only made a monster. Annie Lane was murdered, but that won't slow her down. The mountain that her body is dumped on is legendary for raising the dead. So after waking up in the same frigid water that hides her corpse, Annie surges into her backwoods hometown, hellbent on revenge. The problem is, Annie can't remember who killed her, and the list of people who might have wanted to isn't exactly short. There's her toxic mom who spends her rare sober moments ripping Annie a new one. There's her boss at the diner who's always been a little too friendly. And there's her cheating ex and his creepy bandmates, who are just shit-brained enough to think they could get away with it. All she has to go on are tequila-fogged memories and a blood-stained leather jacket, but Annie won't stop until she gets what she came for. Someone knows the truth. Someone is to blame. Someone has to pay for what happened to Annie Lane. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it spooky? I am absolutely obsessed with this moody neon splash cover. I think my favorite part are the crispy autumnal leaves. I love a good crunchy leaf. This amazing cover was designed by Zareen Johnson, and the cover photo was shot by Christine Blackburne, which is a huge honor because Christine has shot so many amazing covers. I mean, look at all these iconic covers. I can't wait to see it in the flesh, and I hope that you love this cover as much as I do. Anyway, speaking of flesh, let's carve a pumpkin and talk about a Halloween legend that plays a role in my book, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch. By the way, check out this pumpkin carving kit. I know it looks like a CD case, but it's a pumpkin carving kit, okay? We got blades and polkas and everything. You see it? It's got little bats on the handles. This is the best purchase of my life. I got it on Amazon. And look, it's got a little wrist loop, so you can keep that thing on you. You'll never miss an opportunity to carve a jagged smile into a gourd if you got one of these. ABPR, baby. Always be pumpkin ready. I just cut myself on it. I play too much. By now I'm sure that you know the most basic Halloween fact, which is that it's one of those ancient pagan religions that has existed far before recorded history. You know, most similar holidays have been co-opted by the Christian church in one way or another. But for some reason, Halloween seems to be one of the only holidays that the Christian church didn't take over. Like, you know, they took Yule and made it Christmas. They took Yostray, made it Easter. And don't get me wrong, they came for Halloween too. They tried to make it All Saints Day. But that didn't really stick, and Halloween just never lost its devilish flair. But Halloween isn't just a staple of European tradition. The thing that I find fascinating is that when you look at cultures all around the world, even ones completely isolated from each other, almost all of them have a Halloween-like holiday in their traditions. And they're all around the same time of the year. And these traditions are equally as ancient in these cultures. So it's not like they just heard about Halloween and were like, oh, that sounds cool, let's jump on the bandwagon. No, they developed completely independently of each other. It's like everyone on Earth agrees that this time of the year, the time when summer ends and it transitions into winter, spooky shit happens. Now, when I was a kid, this was like a huge part of Halloween's appeal to me. This seemingly pervasive idea that there was a spirit world all around us, and that on this one night of the year, you might be able to sneak a peek through the veil. That just had me in such a chokehold, and I became fascinated by the idea of the dead having a big party on Halloween night. Well, this idea first took root in my brain because of another Halloween tradition. I grew up in a town that wasn't even a mile big. So me and the same 50 kids, you know, we went to all the same classes together from pre-K to 8th grade. And for all that time, from pre-K to 8th grade, we would have the same teachers for certain subjects. So certain traditions would develop. So the reason I'm talking about this is because my music teacher, Miss Madero, shout out Miss Madero, thank you very much for this particular lifelong obsession. Every year, she'd show us this PBS slideshow that was all these illustrations of the Camille Saint-Saëns tone poem, Danse Macabre. Now, if you're not familiar, Danse Macabre is a tone poem written by Camille Saint-Saëns in 1874. And it tells the story of the dead rising from their graves on Halloween night to dance the night away. There's a xylophone to mimic the sound of rattling bones. There's this kind of waltz in the middle, like two lovers reunited for a slow dance. And all the while, it just gets progressively more frantic as the song goes on. Like, the party is getting rowdier and rowdier as the night continues. Then, the sound of an oboe imitates a rooster crow, and the music grows sad and forlorn as if all the dead are sadly returning to their graves before one final optimistic trill seems to promise that they'll be back again next Halloween. Now, this PBS slideshow that Miss Madera would play from one of those humming old projectors, it would help, but you hardly needed the images in that slideshow to have a mental image of this party happening in the cemetery on Halloween night. Ever since the first time that I pictured this ghostly jamboree in my mind's eye, I have been absolutely possessed with the idea of ghosts having a party on Halloween. So of course, there's one in my book, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch. See, Annie makes friends with a bunch of other ghosts who haunt this big, creepy, abandoned old mansion called Chapel House. And these ghosts throw a party in Chapel House every Halloween, and all the dead are invited. The scenes of the spirit ball happening in Chapel House are definitely some of my favorite scenes in the book. Honestly, any of the scenes where Annie's hanging out with all the other ghosts are like my favorites. I just love a good found family hangout, you know what I mean? But I especially love Sam, the beatnik biker bad boy who is absolutely to die for. I can't wait for you to meet him next spooky season when my book comes out. Which reminds me, you know what else is partially to blame for my book? That scene at the end of Casper where Devon Sawa shows up and slow dances with Christina Ricci in the middle of a Halloween party and they float off the ground. That set the standard for me, you know what I mean? Like a cute ghost waltzing you right up into the air. Is there anything more swoon-worthy? That Halloween party, haunted house, dancing off the ground energy. That's the blueprint. You can also check out my very scary ghost story video where I read a book that was my favorite in my childhood about two ghosts who are on a cute little date on Halloween night looking for the spookiest thing in town. You know, if you want a little preview of the vibes between Annie and Sam, let me know. If you could party with any ghost, who would it be? I mean, I'd like to party with Annie Lane. I feel like we get drunk in a parking lot and listen to Slayer together. But I guess it's kind of lame to pick my own character, right? So I'm gonna say Mary Shelley. I feel like we get along, and I want to talk mad shit about Lord Byron. You know what I mean? We get up to so much creepy hot girl shit. Here's my pumpkin. Do you like it? Do you love it? Let's light her up. Well, I'm off to wander around Salem and hopefully scare some tourists and get some pizza. But I hope you enjoyed carving this jack-o'-lantern with me and seeing the cover for my book, Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch. Until next time, happy Halloween, my creepy crawlies.